Goldseeker Aniri has a ridiculous hidden superpower. What is up, guys? This is Cobb, and I'm a massive fan of any champion in this game that can basically solo a dungeon, or in this case is part of a two-man team. Goldseeker Aniri plus basically any damage dealer, but we'll get to that in just a little bit, that can solo the crap out of Sand Devil, and it's all because of a 3 and her passive ability, right? Starting off with the passive, if an ally is about to get killed by a fatal hit, preempt that hit and instantly place a revive on death buff on them for 1 turn before the damage is taken. Very crucial indeed, because this can be activated on herself, right? And so the Sand Devil is going to come in, land a huge one-shot, and the idea is that you want to speed tune your Aniri just right so that she's able to revive herself. And then once she revives, again, the speed tuning has got to be exactly on point so that she can then use her A3 and revive the other fallen ally so that they can use their skills instantly, right? Because this revive also resets the cooldowns on all of their ally skills. We're going to be talking about how to build your Goldseeker Aniri to solo all the way up to stage 25 max Sand Devil, the kind of stats that you're going to need to be hitting. Before we get into that, look at this. Oh my god, I've been so excited to show off this weapon that quad rolled into speed. First time ever in my account's life where I've actually quad rolled anything, and it happened to be a quad speed roll on this goddamn weapon. I'm going to be going over all of the stats and all of the stat checks and stuff that you're going to need to hit. This Goldseeker Aniri is actually lacking in defensive stats. We're going to be covering that and what kind of stats you need to hit, and the stats I'm going to be working towards so that I can consistently clear stage 25. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. Before we get into the dungeon showcase itself, hey man, if you're looking to start off a new raid account, make sure to use my beginner promo link, which as always is down below at the top of the video description box. Click on that link to download raid. You get yourself 4 free epic champions to jumpstart your new account. Join me on my free-to-play adventure, which is like half of the videos that go up on this channel at this point. And it's going to be awesome. And all you got to do is make sure that you are signed out of Plarium Player on your PC before clicking on that link to download raid. Yeah, to guarantee that you get your hands on all of those sweet rewards. Okay, man, so let's actually see the dungeon team in action and see what we got going on here, man. I've been able to clear down as low as stage 21, almost cleared stage 22, and we are very close to being able to solo all of this, but this team is basically not going to change all the way to the end. We just need more gear, and this is why it is so important to be able to set up a team like this, right? You can set up a 2-man team. It doesn't have to be a ninja. We're going to cover other options that you can throw in as just another damage dealer in this role, but once you've got this team set up, this little 2-man squad of Aniri plus a damage dealer, they can handle the entire dungeon, and then you can start farming food champions during Sand Devil tournaments and stuff like that, right? So we're just going to go ahead and throw this team on in. And so what the Sand Devil is going to do is one-shot everybody at the start of the game. Aniri's going to revive with her passive, then she's going to revive the ninja, because it's the strongest ally on the team, so she'll always revive him first, and then he will land his HP burn. And then he's going to die very quickly, right? Because as soon as the boss gets its A3 ability back again, it's going to one-shot us all again anyway. But then the cycle's going to repeat because we've speed-tuned the team correctly. And again, we'll get into what stats and stuff you need for that in the interim. And so we're just trying to keep the Aniri alive until her revive and her passive come up again. The boss one-shots us again. She revives, gets up the ninja. He bends a little bit more. And on it goes, right? And we kind of stay in this sort of loop. And the only real limiting factor with this team is your defensive stats, is keeping the Aniri alive in this in-between period. As long as the speed tunes are correct, then it will always play out the same. This little pattern of Aniri dies, revives the ninja. He does a bit of damage, dies again, etc. It's this little interim period here that is going to be where the stat checks become very important. And so, yeah, this is the clear. This is what it looks like. I'm just going to let this finish on out, and then let's move on to the stats that you need to be hitting on your champs to make this thing work. All right, and there it is, man. Look at the energy pour in on those food champions, and it's just completely for free. We're here to farm a dungeon tournament anyway, right, and finish off the Sand Devil's Necropolis tournament that's currently active, and so, dude, It's just so much value getting champs set up that can do this. So what stats do you need on the likes of your Godseeker Aniri and your damage dealer in order to make this work? Well, first of all, the Godseeker getting hair stats correct. First and foremost, going to be by far the most important thing. The damage dealer is kind of secondary and kind of be in anybody, but for the Godseeker, you want to be looking at landing on as close to 209 speed as you possibly can. You can afford to be a tiny bit slower, and it will still work out. 209. I believe if you go beyond this, you're going to start to potentially run into some speed tuning issues where she's going just a little bit too fast, and she's getting the revive off at bad times, which isn't going to be great. This is for stage 19 plus, by the way, and once you get her speed to 209, you can never touch it ever again. From stage 19 and beyond, and you'll be totally fine, right? You never have to touch it ever again once you're past stage 19. Now, I actually had a little bit of trouble getting through stage like 16 and 17 with this build because my Godseeker Aniri was a bit too fast for those stages, and so yeah, I was screwing myself over, you know, and this glorious quad speed roll weapon, well, I had to switch it out for another immortal weapon instead that just only had like a single speed roll, so I just had to deliberately drop like 20 speed because my Aniri was going too quick and she was reviving the ninja at the wrong time and all of those things, you know. So 209 speed on your Godseeker Aniri and you'll be great. You'll also notice as well, if you know how this build works, that my defensive stats are not on point for my Aniri, right? You want to be looking at least like 4.5k defense. It's a very, very high defense requirement build, so 4,500 defense is going to be optimal for pushing into stage 25. HP, I've actually gone a little bit overboard, to be honest. 70,000 would definitely be on the high end. You can get away with as low as 60,000 as long as you've got like say 5,000 defense, you know. Good averages to aim for are going to be about 4,500 defense and about 65,000 HP. Again, with a bit of give or take between the two, right? You can kind of trade in some of one for the other, and so on and so forth. But my Aniri, yeah, she just dies on like stage 22, man. I'm not quite able to get through there yet, and it's mostly because of bad defense rolls on my rather budget gear, in this case, for my regeneration gear. Look at this chest plate. It's absolutely disgracefully terrible. Yeah, forget about it. You know, I just need some gear upgrades if I'm going to progress all the way to stage 25 on this account. But I do have another account that I can jump on real quick to show this build in all of its glory in stage 25, and we'll get to that towards the end of the video. So for Godseeker, it's all just about that 209 speed, getting your defensive stats in check, and yeah, that will see you all the way through to stage 25, right? The only limiting factor is going to be those defensive stats. Now, for your damage dealer, in my case, it's a ninja, and his build, he needs a rebuild. He needs a rebuild. That's it. Your damage dealer can be basically any damage dealer that's dealing percentage HP damage, or is dealing the likes of HP burn. One of the most budget HP burners in the game is actually a rare champion that's very, very easy to get, and we'll actually touch on that because this build can work just fine with that. But if you're going to progress all the way to stage 25 with an HP burner champion, like I'm going to be doing with my ninja eventually on this account, you're looking at like 550 accuracy on that champion, right? Very, very accuracy focused gear. And you also want to build out this damage dealer with 180 speed at least, okay, at a minimum. They don't have to be any faster than that. It doesn't matter if they're faster than that as well, I should say. They just need at least 180 speed so that when they are revived, they always get a 10, right? You don't want your Godseeker to be reviving them and then they're too slow, so they get revived and then just die again instantly anyway because they're too slow to even get a 10 in, right? They just need to get that 110 in and land a little bit of HP burn damage. But the accuracy requirements are going to become very, very steep and are going to become a limiting factor as you progress towards stage 25. Now, that said, you can progress through the lower stages with an HP burner as well. Just to give you an idea of what some of the stats look like, at stage 10, you need 190 accuracy. At stage 15, it's 260. And stage 20, where I am right now, it's 360. Okay, so even though my ninja is a little bit short of 360, he's still able to get stage 20 done without too much trouble. There's a little bit of like give there because he's got a triple hitter HP burn. But another champion you can use as an HP burner instead as a hyper budget option is going to be Selenia Nightcloak. And she's great because she actually has the option to build a little bit less accuracy because of a 3, where she attacks in 3 times at random before attacking, place an increased accuracy buff on this champ for a couple of turns, and then each hit as an HP burn has a chance to place HP burn, right? So you can actually build her out with, like, I don't know, 420 accuracy or something like that, you know? And she can do just fine, and she'll make up the rest of the accuracy numbers herself on her A3. And again, as long as you build her out with 180 speed, she's good to go. You know, she can work as a good budget option. Somebody in the stream chat a little bit earlier on asked if Drexthar Blood Twin can work, and he can. It's fine. The land rate of his HP burn is just a little bit slow on his A1. There's a chance that he attacks in all 3 times. And it doesn't land the HP burn. Of course, he has a chance to place it on his passive as well when he takes damage. And so, Drexthar can work. It just might be rather slow, you know? But again, as a budget option, if you got yourself a Drexthar, you don't have a Selenia Nightcloak, you can build a Drexthar with all of that crazy, all those crazy accuracy stats, and you can use him for this purpose. He might just be a little bit useless then in other areas of the game where you might also want to use your Drexthar. But the point is, basically any HP burner like this can work. I even used Cold Heart in some of my super early stages when doing this and just testing it out for fun. Obviously, Cold Heart has the disadvantage of also decreasing the target's turn meter by 100%, and so if she actually lands this 10 meter reduction, it can screw up the timings a little bit, and I have to jump in and manual the fight. But for getting through like some of the earlier stages, like the stage 15s and stuff like that, I did just use Cold Heart randomly, just for fun to try it out, and it does work. But like I say, you might get stuck manualing some of the battles or risk being stuck in there for a long time, you know? Another thing to be aware of as well is going to be your area bonus nodes if you're playing live arena and you're spending these medals. Where is it, man? Where's the Sand Devil? There it is. You might want to be very careful as to where you spend your medals here in this area bonus Great Hall, and be careful not to break your speed tunings in Sand Devil, because having that exact 209 speed on the Godseeker Aniri and being very careful to go over that is going to be quite important indeed. So yeah, I for one am probably never ever going to be spending medals here in this Great Hall for Sand Devils and Necropolis into these speed nodes. So that's one thing worth noting as well. So we have logged on over to, frankly, that account that was gifted to me a while back, and it has an insane variation of this team built up and ready to go into Sand Devil Stage 25, as you can see, and this is what the stat lines look like on these two champs when built out optimally. The Godseeker has, I mean, slightly higher than the HP that I recommended, which was 65k, 67k HP, and slightly higher defense than I would have recommended as well, which is like 4.5, 4.6, as high as almost 4.9 on this Aniri, so it should be really no problem. And on the Ninja, the speed, very healthy, is over 180, of course, and the accuracy 521, so just a little bit shy of the 550 recommended, but should be more than enough to get the job done. Let's do this, man. Also, the Godseeker's gained a little bit of speed as well, but that's not necessary. Once you've got 209 speed, you can leave it at 209 speed from stage 19 plus and be totally fine. So let's do this, man. Let's go ahead, run this one out, and see how this goes. Could it possibly work perfectly? I actually don't know. I've not tested it on this account before, but, you know, all things being said, the smarter people who worked out this build long before I made this video suggests that this is going to work absolutely perfectly. So Ninja lands his damage. All good. Sweet. Godseeker, she's just going to survive in the in-between, which it looks like she's going to do very comfortably. Again, slightly more health and defense than needed here, really, to get the job done by the looks. Revive goes off, HP burns come out, and it looks like it's just going to function all lovely and smooth. And again, just the value, man. The sheer value of getting teams like this set up, that you can like 2-mana dungeon like this, or even solo some dungeons in this game, of course, like Dragon, Ice Golem are big culprits for being very soloable, even by some epic champions. We've got some videos up on the channel of epic champions that are solo carry gods into certain content in this game. I'd highly recommend you check that video out. But being able to farm food champions and just farm free food on your account while also hitting something like a dungeon tournament is just such a crazy double dip in value that it's going to make your champion training, man, so ridiculously, stupendously easy. compared to how it is when you first start out the game and you're just hitting campaign 12-3, you know, and that's like your primary way of farming food. This is going to change everything, man. It's such a huge quality of life upgrade for your account, man. So there it is. The good old Godseeker Aniri build, alongside basically any HP burn damage dealer. Gonna get you through Sand Devil just juicily, man. Just lovelily. And, yeah. That's pretty much it. So one thing you can consider running is, of course, an Affinity Breaker set on the likes of, you know, your Ninja, if he's your damage dealer, into this just to help you out against stage 25, because it is Force Affinity, he is magic, you're going to be weak hitting quite a lot. So if you have an abundance of Affinity Breaker gear with enough accuracy rolls, then you can consider using this on your damage dealer. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. That's going to be the end of this video. Hope that this little build guide helped you out a little bit, like it helped me out when I checked this out from, I don't know, like all of the people who've made videos on this before. It's not a new build by any means. I'm just proud of myself for getting it set up on my main account. Hey man, thanks for watching. Hope you also did enjoy. If you're looking to start off a new raid account anytime soon, you know the place to do it. It is, of course, the beginner promo link that is down below at the top of the video description box. Hit that link, use it to download raid to get yourself 4 free epic champions on your brand new account. It's gonna be awesome. And I'm gonna catch all of you guys just a tad bit later, man.